Listen, you've been working in Hollywood since you were 4 years old. Did you know that early on you wanted to be an entertainer, or was it something like, a lot of times parents see their kids so adorable, let me put you in a pageant or audition for something? Did you know at 4?
I know. I don't think I knew it for. I know I like to tell story. I like to tell stories at 4 because I have like very clear memories of like we had chain link fences in the backyard, and I used to like talk to the neighbors and tell them stories, like to the point where like my parents had to like pry me away and be like, okay, I'm so sorry. She just saw ET. So sorry. Okay, we're gonna. So I think I was very precocious, and but it continued. I loved it, and I love it now, and it continues. Stories continue to just excite me because there's like no end to how they evolve, how storytelling can evolve, the types of stories that we tell, who gets to tell them, what we tell them about. There's I'm endlessly entertained by them. I love them. So I must have loved it when I was a kid because I love it now.
We have some viewer comments I want to read to you. Shay Jackson says, she's still so beautiful. Yeah, you know what is not fair about you, Tatyana? The rest of them had a little weird, ugly phase around 9, 10, 11 with the big teeth and the, weird features. You seem like you were cute all the way through. I had never seen an awkward phase.
That is not true.
Lies.
I wish I could show you. I had buck teeth on Fresh Prince. I had big feathered bangs, so they kind of hid my unibrow because my Panamanian mother the makeup artists were like, please, she's on TV. Just let us take a little. I had a unibrow. I had hairy legs and a mustache, and I was on TV like that.
And still way cuter than I was, that's for sure. I never saw that. You were, I don't remember off face, and I would say it too. Listen, kids ain't off limits to me. You did not have, in my opinion, I'm just going to say this. Okay, so you begged your mom to take you to a Sesame Street audition. Is that true?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So how did that, landing that opportunity, how did that change your life?
I learned how to be on a set. It was like a kindergarten, preschool. I actually, at the same time, though, it kind of demystified. I saw Snuffleupagus like hanging from the rafters, and I kind of freaked out. Like I kind of had to learn very early. The puppeteers are right down there, that they're not real. So that was kind of a thing. But I got to sing with Carly Simon. I got to make faces with Sid Caesar. I got to talk into the synthesizer with Herbie Hancock. Like even though I didn't know who the stature of these people, I knew that, they're just amazing, magnetic entertainers. And I remember those moments very well, not just because they were famous or whatever. I didn't know that, but because they were just incredible experiences.
Speaking of experiences, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, you started on that show for 6 seasons, and that's where America, I think, fell in love with you. Can you share some of your favorite memories of being part of that show? Like, that was such an important show, I thought.
Probably my favorite memories were not necessarily things that people saw, even in the outtakes. We had a really special situation where the cast was a part of the note session after every run through. So usually for sitcoms, the writers come down after a run through, which is like the big rehearsal at the end of the day, and you do like maybe 3 run throughs a week before the final taping. And the writers will come down and they'll give the actors notes, and it's a one-way thing. On Fresh Prince, I think because the creators, Andy and Susan Borowitz, they were writing about a Black family, and they had a bunch of Black people in the cast. They said, well, tell us what you think. So it became a two-way thing, and it was always that way. Even when Winifred Herbie Stallworth took over. And I just remember the kinds of conversations that took place. Like, I wish people knew that the things that were meaningful about Fresh Prince, like emotionally, even socially, they were like really on purpose. And a big guiding light force on the show was James Avery, who passed away. He played Uncle Phil. And I used to literally just sit at his feet. He's somebody who believed in, you know, kind of like, almost like he came from like the Paul Robeson school of like actor, activist, humanitarian, like we are here representing our people, and we are here, that's not something we can take lightly, you know, that's something that's even a mission. And so I got to learn that from him. And yeah, it was awesome. Those are my favorite moments. Just us just talking about things that just blew my mind as a kid, and that have, you know, are just an indelible part of who I am.
I think you've had such a great career, and you have this positive energy that just it's very apparent. You've watching from afar, you've always just seen this way to me. So I see why you keep getting blessed. And I want to talk about an essay you wrote for Essence magazine on the importance and beauty of a Black woman's pregnancy journey. What inspired you to write that journey?
Yeah. It's called, the essay is called Birthright. I had a really trying experience with the birth. I had a wonderful pregnancy, but the birth of my first son was very difficult. It was in a hospital, and it was the experience was abusive, and it ended up in an emergency C-section. And I wrote about that in the Essence article. And I also wrote about kind of like our road as a family, my husband and I, you know, kind of to a redemption with the birth of our second son, where we decided to go a completely different route. We decided to work with a midwife, a Black midwife, with, and it opened up, that experience with my first birth opened up the world of reproductive justice to me, and opened my eyes to the Black maternal health care crisis.
Was that how much of a difference as far as Black women, how they're treated?
There's a huge difference, and there's studies. The Birth Lab just did a study a year or so ago, talking about the abuses that Black women and experience, being yelled at, I had somebody put their forearm on top of my belly, and almost like they were trying to squeeze my son out. It was so demoralizing, and it took about a year for us to realize that, like, not only was that abnormal, it was also insane and wrong. It opened my eyes to the reproductive justice movement, and also to Black midwifery and decentralized maternal care, which, you know, I'm working on something, on a project where I am really, I want to share all of the information that I was privy to, that I was able to kind of compile, and just by being in the room with these incredible people, and we were completely healed. It was a totally different experience with our midwife the second time around, and I want those choices and those options to be available to all of us, to have culturally competent care, somebody really listening to you and really honoring your choices, and believing that you as parents actually want the best thing for your baby.
I'm glad you're doing that work.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm sitting here like, it's appalling that this is still a thing, even in a field where they take an oath, right? Doctors to take care of human beings, and there's still this despair.
These disparities, though, the same structural racism that we're trying to take apart in policing, and that we're trying to take apart in the prison systems, and those same structurally racist ideas and ways of being, you know, lack of insurance, all of these things, it exists in maternal health care too. And so when it's kind of like taking care of Black women, absolutely, this is a huge part of taking care of Black women in the struggle that we're in now.
I wish we had more time to talk about this. And when we get back in the studio in LA, when COVID is over, I'd love to have you come back on, maybe with some
I would love to
gone through this, and we can really spend some time on this.
That would be great, Claudia.
That deserves more conversation. Before we let you go, we have like 30 seconds left. Your fans want to know, you know, any music projects coming out anytime soon?
No, I put out an EP. Yeah, it's true. I put out an EP called Hello, maybe years ago. But that was the last, and you know.
It's okay. Well, you know, you're out here busy saving the world and bringing awareness to something that's really, really, really important. We can wait on the music. You know, you're looking 17, so you have a lot of time. So, you know,
it's all about this right here. It's all
Tatyana,
about this.
You are
drink your water and stand in the dirt. I'm telling you.
You've been really very refreshing interview. So I appreciate your time. And we're gonna have my people reach out to your people, and we want to get and spend some real good time on this topic. It's something that, you know, all this stuff we're talking about in Black Lives Matter, we definitely got to get in the weeds with this thing and start off at birth. And you know, from the very first day here, a child is being abused because there's some bias towards the mom. It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And
thank you, Claudia, for inviting me.
Oh, for sure. Anytime.